I knew there was more to that mission than met the eye. What's up, YouTubers of the world? Mega Geek Mixer here to give you guys my review on episodes 2 and 3 of Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, guys, I'm keeping my voice down because I got guests over and they're sleeping right now. But first off, let me just let you guys know that the reason I didn't do a review on episode 2, because first off, there wasn't much to it. It was kind of like the second episode from season 1, not really much to it, moving the plot forward. However, though, what I did know is that there had to be more to this mission than met the eye. I mean, taking this frog woman to her home and leading to Mandalorians seemed like it was simple as that, but I felt there was something more to it, and boy, was I right. Well, not exactly right. I'm sure many of us thought that, and we were kind of right, but we were kind of wrong. But I'll really recap that. Episode 2 had a lot of Easter eggs, not just in Star Wars, but in other films in general, such as in the fact that Baby Yoda just loved just eating those eggs nonstop. Those frog eggs that frog lady had was funny as heck. And then, of course, the father-son relationship between the child and Din Djarin. I always feel like I'm saying his last name wrong, but either way, though, the relationship between their two, their father-son relationship, I just enjoyed how he's being the father and yet the child's being the child and being disobedient. Oh, that is just so funny. I could just laugh at that all day. But either way, though, the fact that he ran into some New Republic fighters being X-wing fighters, which by the way, that's my favorite ship when it comes to Star Wars. I always love to pilot in a ship like that because it just looks so awesome. But either way, the mere fact that they landed on a frozen planet, which I was really hoping would have been Ilum, but it wasn't, was definitely something to see. And the fact that we got an Easter egg to the aliens. And what do I mean by that? I mean when Baby Yoda found a a whole a whole, like, what's the best way to put it here? My head, I don't know. Let's just say a whole field of eggs, and that the way they open up were pretty much just like how those alien eggs would open up to hatch to bring out their younglings. Oh man, that was so. Yeah, I just enjoyed that Easter egg. And then, of course, it turns out they were eggs of those spiders that were seen in Star Wars Rebels. I forget the name of them, but it definitely was a very adventurous episode, even though there wasn't much to it. But now, having said all that, we can finally move on into episode 3, where finally Bo-Katan has made her live action debut. And yes, she is played by the same person who has been voicing Bo-Katan throughout the Star Wars Clone Wars series, and that's Katie Sackhoff. Sackhoff. I hope I didn't butcher her last name there, but either way, great to see her. She looks amazing in her live action Mandalorian armor, and seeing her in person was really awesome to see. But it wasn't just her we got to see. She also had two other Mandalorians with her, and one of them, it was none other than Sasha Banks. That's right, guys. Sasha Banks has made her live action debut in Star Wars The Mandalorian. We still don't really know her character. All we know is her character's name is Koshaka Reeves, and I don't think I have ever seen or heard of her name before until just today. But either way, though, it's great to see Sasha Banks in Mandalorian armor and playing as a Mandalorian. And by the way, she takes a few glimpses at the child, and she's also the one that rescues the child, because it turns out Bo-Katan ends up meeting, and her Mandalorian friends, allies, meet up with Mando because he was believed by some bandits who wanted his Beskar armor could take him to some Mandalorians. And in truth, they kind of did, just in a not the way Mando had thought. Because when he finally delivered brought the frog to her planet, to where her husband is, he was led into an inn where people told him that they could help him find Mandalorians. Of course, this guy was just a bandit or a pirate lying just to get his Beskar armor, and that's when And that's when Bo-Katan and her allies showed up and just kicked their asses. Oh my God, it was a great action scene nonetheless. But even still, though, great to finally see him. And speaking of which, the other person that's with Bo-Katan, if you guys don't recognize him, he was actually one of the Hydra agents and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I forget the guy's name when he was his character's name in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was very hard to pronounce, but basically he was the guy who had brainwashed Agent 33 was her name, and then but later up ended up becoming Grant Ward's loyal follower. So yeah, great, a lot of familiar faces here. A very lot of familiar faces here when it comes to Agents of Shield or WWE for that matter. But either way, though, we all not only did it was it great to see Bo-Katan, but here we finally learn the difference here between Mando and other Mandalorians who have no problem taking their helmets off. It turns out Din Djarin Din Djarin is part of a group known as the Watchers. He is a child of the Watch, and what they are is a cult of religious zealots who broke away from Mandalorian society some time ago and are trying to reestablish the ancient ways. This is why he doesn't take off his helmet while others do, because he's part of a cult known as the Watch. That finally makes perfect sense, and I'm glad we finally got that, because I have been really curious about that through the back of my head all this time and saying, why is it that I've seen other Mandalorians taking their helmets off with no problem, but Mando won't? Oh man, what a breakthrough that was. But there was even more breakthroughs to come here as Bo-Katan eventually learned that Mando's searching for a Jedi. And of course, we knew Bo-Katan knew straight off the bat where to find one because she's friends with Ahsoka Tano thanks to the history of the siege of Mandalore and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure they might have met a few other times because at the end of this episode, she does reveal to Mando where to find Ahsoka's location. But I'll get to that here in a minute. We first got to talk about Bo-Katan and why she and her allies were on the same planet as Mando. It turns out that the Empire had taken some weapons that belonged to the Mandalorians, and Bo-Katan wanted to raid that ship so she could use it to go back to their homeland and and have a new seat for Mando. Basically, the seat that I guess, has been empty since maybe Darth Maul's capture and everything. And there's just no telling how bad the planet's been since then, because as we've seen, the Mandalorians have all been scattered across the galaxy. They're no longer on their once planet, at least the planet Bo-Katan was from. I mean, the Bo-Katan is on. But either way, we've learned that during that mission, there was more to her mission than met the eye. It turns out that right now, she doesn't know it, and neither does Mando, is that they got a common enemy, and Moff Gideon. First off, Mando doesn't know that Moff Gideon's still alive, and at the same time, he doesn't know that Moff Gideon has something that Bo-Katan wants, and that's the dark saber. Yes, we still don't know exactly how Moff Gideon ended up getting his hands on the dark saber, but from what it looks like, when Bo-Katan raided that ship, which by the way was captained by another guy who was on Agents of Shield as well, was an agent of Shield at first, but then later became an enemy of Phil Coulson. I don't remember his name. Either way, though, it turns out, I guess Moff Gideon somehow took the saber from Bo-Katan, and now she's trying to get it back. I don't know. All I just know is there was a lot more going on here than met the eye, and yes, her and Mando have a much more bigger common enemy than they know. But right now, they didn't let each other know because Mando only helped them because she said she would tell him where a Jedi was if he helped her, which he did. And it turns out Ahsoka Tano is now located on a forest planet called Corvus in the city of Colodan. I hope I said that name right. I no doubt butchered it. I'm sorry for that. But either way, guys, what an episode. Great episode, no doubt about it. And yes, that mission was more than met the eye with that frog, meaning it had more meaning and leading to the direction because at first I was thinking that it had something more than the meaning that like when she rescued him, when she finally made it to that planet and stuff. Like, I don't know. All I just know is there was more to it than meets the eye. That's all I can really say. But not really, to say the least, at least. But nevertheless, still a great episode. I loved every minute of it. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, I suggest you go see it. But either way, guys, I hope you enjoy my videos. And if you are, all you gotta do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, Mega Geek Mixer signing out. Bye.